In this video, I'll show you how to run a macro from a drop-down list. And actually, it depends on the value you select. So if you select the first value in a drop-down list, a specific macro is run. And if you select the second one, another macro is run. The first thing to do is to create a drop-down list. So select a cell and go to tab data on the ribbon, and there click data validation button, and here click this drop down list and select list, and here you have the source values, and I'm going to use macro 1 comma macro 2. Click OK, and now we have a drop down list in cell B2, and if you click on this, you are now able to select a text string, and that text string shows up in this cell. To be able to run a macro, we need to add event code to this workbook. And to do that, you can right click on the sheet you want event code to be, and then click view code, and this opens the VB editor, Visual Basic editor, and you can see that sheet 2 is selected here, and this is the code module for sheet 2, and here place the code here. Go back to my website and find the event code, copy it, and then go to the VB editor and paste it here. The worksheet change code here allows you to monitor a sheet, and if a cell value has changed, the target parameter here changes to that cell, and the code in here is run. And the next line here checks if cell B2 has changed, and if it has, it goes on to the next line. If it hasn't changed, it goes down here and ends. And this line here checks the value in cell B2, and if it is macro 1, it runs this macro, and if the text string in cell B2 is macro 2, it runs this macro. To add a macro to your workbook, right click on your workbook here, and then click insert and module, and this adds a code module to your workbook. And here type the macro you want to use, and the first macro is going to show a message box with the value macro 1, and the second macro is going to be macro 2, and it will show message box macro 2. So if I now change the value here in the drop down list to macro 1, I get an error here, and that is because I have the same name on both macros. And let's try this again, macro 2, and now it runs macro 2 and a message box appears with the value macro 2. And if I change this to macro 1, this macro here is executed and it shows macro 1. And if you change a value in another cell on this sheet, nothing should happen, because this event code here looks for changes in only cell B2.